play and call it work.
Hello everyone and welcome to this week's Sit and Talk with Luka from MiniWarGaming. In this episode, I will be answering all the questions you have for me. No different from every other episode. And if you're not familiar with what this show is, I simply sit here for half an hour answering questions from the viewers. Any comments left below on the previous week's Sit and Talk will be directed towards me and I will be answering them. I do have a nice handful of questions here to answer, so I should have no problem filling out this 30 minutes. Not that I ever really do tend to ramble. I was bad, and I was supposed to do this yesterday, so I'm pretty sure this is being uploaded on a Friday, and today is that Friday. I was supposed to do this yesterday, but I was heavily distracted, and no one reminded me, so I take absolutely zero fault for this. Regardless, next week's Sit and Talk is going to be with Matthew. So if you have any questions for Matthew regarding, anything you want to ask him, he will be more than happy to answer those questions. All you have to do is leave a comment below this video specifically. I will be reminding you at the end to do the exact same thing. But if you leave them on the next video in the vault, he won't be answering those, and the comments should be disabled on YouTube. So the only place you can possibly leave comments are on this video down below. Again, that is for Matthew next week. He will probably do his on time on Thursday, so it'll be next Thursday. Regardless, I guess I'm ready to jump right into it, and of course the second half of this will be in the vault for all of our vault members, where I will be answering questions specifically from the vault members. And if you're not a vault member, click on the link below, take yourself down there, and sign yourself up for a 7-day free trial. Get you access to all of our sit and vaults if you really like those, or the other thousands of videos regarding wargaming in general. Regardless, again, let's get right back into it. And the first question I have is from the Danish Viking Alex at Mr. Luka the Dice. Thank you. Very respectful. Thanks for the awesome content. No problem. I have been a Vault member for some time now, and I really enjoy the content all of you do, and also the content you content producers do together. Of course, those are always a little bit more fun to do. Working in-house on big projects is really fun, like when everyone got into the Horus Heresy. Anyways, it made me wonder, who is the old married couple at MiniWarGaming? Meaning, who's always arguing / almost killing each other on a daily basis, but are best friends at the end of the day. Also, who at MiniWarGaming would survive the longest in a zombie apocalypse world? Happy Wargaming. Who's the old married couple? Who's always kind of bickering and arguing, but they work together in the end, mostly? That's a tough one. Because, most people argue. Why can't I say the word right now? Yeah, argue. I'm just going to go with bicker. Thank you. Wow. Awful. Sorry. Anyways, who's always arguing? That is not myself. Okay, for myself personally, I work a lot with Josh, and out of everyone, he can get under my skin the easiest when we're playing a game. Maybe it has something to do with the armies he likes to play. Maybe it's his play style. I don't know. I feel like there's always something that is in his force or in his army that always bothers me, and I don't want to deal with it. And I'm not saying that he plays really annoying things, because a lot of times he doesn't. Like I said in 40K, the unit I hate the most in the game are the Castellan robots. And Josh is the only person that plays them, because he's the only one who plays AdMech. So by default, it kind of goes to him there. I usually get along with Steve pretty well. I haven't recorded with Steve for a while because he's busy doing narrative campaigns with Matt, where I'm busy doing a lot of the Age of Sigmar content and all of that. Anyways, Quirk, I usually work with, if I had to order it, and who I work with is Josh, Quirk, and then Steve. I guess Matt is somewhere between Josh, Matt, Steve, Quirk, Steve. I used to work with Steve the most, funny enough, back when I was a volunteer. We'd always do fantasy together, and that was super fun. I still have good memories of that. But I probably argue with Josh the most, just because I tend to get under his skin as well. But towards the end of the day, it's fine, and we always enjoy working together. I probably enjoy at this point. I usually enjoy working with Josh the most, because it's usually some interesting content, and it's pretty. It's pretty easy to work with him just because I work with him so much already. But with everyone else, I don't know. I remember when I was a volunteer, Steve and Josh used to argue all the time. about just like not even Wargaming, just like everything. Like Josh always liked to get into Steve's skin, so I would definitely say Josh and Steve, but that they haven't argued for a while, so I don't know anymore. I can't answer your question properly, but in the past I would have said Josh and Steve. And for the second question, who would most likely survive a zombie apocalypse world? Maybe Josh, because he already has access to a lot of guns. He's a gun collector. He's got a lot of knowledge too. I might be too ignorant to survive in a zombie apocalypse world, I'd like to imagine. Matthew is pretty intelligent. Maybe he's not as ignorant as I. Maybe he would survive better than I. But I'm going to go with Josh. Josh will probably survive a zombie apocalypse world the best, as he is already equipped with some of the more important tools to do so. Next question. We have by Kane Halcyon? 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 It's probably something I'm not pronouncing properly, and I apologize. Hi, Luka. On the last Open Vault, you showed off your Lord of the Rings models before stripping them. Was wondering if you will be picking up the new edition of Middle-earth strategy game, and if so, will we be possibly seeing any bat reps of it? Thank you so much, and love your show. Oh, geez. Yes, so my Sauron is painted. It turns out, as a child, I lost the crown bit that goes on his forehead. So he's got the two little horns going up, and he's got the little crown. So I got to find a bit to replicate that. So if you have any ideas I haven't really looked, but if you have any ideas and you want to email me, luke@miniwargaming.com, to suggest bits that are a good scale. I could just file down some plastic and make that work, I guess. But if there's any bits that are a good scale to throw on his forehead, I would appreciate that, because I always love the insight of the viewers, because they are much more knowledgeable than I am in certain aspects of the hobby. Regardless, yes, we do have the new Middle-earth strategy game box set, Battle of Pelennor Fields, and everyone is very excited. By everyone, I mean Josh, Steve, and myself. I, of course, whipped out my old evil army, and I have built and painted the evil side of the Battle of Pelennor Fields. And by painted, I mean they're primed. I will be painting them. Sorry, I jumped the gun a little bit there. Is the Witch King of Angmar, the Troll, and his 36 closest orcs. Sorry. So that is what I'll be playing in addition to my Isengard stuff and my Moria stuff. I also have a lot of Mordor orcs and, of course, Sauron. I need more leadership for them, because when I bought those models back when I was 11, 12 years old, I didn't really understand the concept of force organization, because I had no one to really teach me. So I didn't buy any heroes other than the cool named guys I liked. So I had like Sharku and I had Lurtz. I don't even have Sharku on foot. I only have Sharku on the mount, so I have to get Sharku. If they even sell Sharku on foot. Sharku's that Warg Rider captain guy. You all know who he is. Anyways, yeah, I'll be playing mostly Evil. As for battle reports, I'll go with Josh's answer, is nothing is scheduled as of right now, but we are all excited and we all plan on playing it on our own time. And when time becomes available, then yes, we would love to record the new Lord of the Rings not Battle for Middle-earth, but Middle-earth strategy game, as we're all pretty excited to get into it, as are some of my friends at home. So regardless, I'll be playing it at home with Kenny. Next up, we have Cavius Luka. Why, when anyone asks who would win a fight in MiniWarGaming, it is always yourself mentioned by everyone else so quickly? I don't know. I am not violent. I may be a little eccentric. I may be a little like to tease there's violence. But no, I haven't gotten into a fight since like grade 9. Jeez, that was a while ago. Yeah, it's been a long time. I'm not a violent person. I don't know. Maybe something about my personality, my aura, comes off as violent. But I'm usually pretty happy-go-lucky, never looking for a fight. Why is it always me? Maybe it's just fun to imagine that. It's fun for the viewers. By all means, keep doing it. I don't even know what the answers are to these questions, but I do know that I pop up a lot when it comes to violence. Maybe it's all the holes in the walls I put at MiniWarGaming. Like I said, I get a little rambunctious. I get a little excited at work, whatever. I love my job, so I put holes in the walls. What can I say? They're not holes of anger. They're holes of love and happiness and just tomfoolery. But I don't know why I'm always brought up for violence. This is not me. Next question is Stinky Diver. Hi, Luka. Hope your Friday is going well. It is. Well, I'm a little behind schedule, but I can make that work. And I want to wish everyone at MiniWarGaming a good, relaxing weekend. You certainly earned it. Why, thank you. This weekend is a long weekend. It is Labor Day weekend, so we're all looking forward to that. Okay, here we go. We have the question. You can take this as either a hypothetical question or a suggestion, but don't you think Theo's gene seed could be put to use, founding a new chapter in the MiniWarGaming universe? I guess it could. He was pretty epic. Could a whole chapter be founded on the likes of Theo's gene seed? Or maybe Kenneth or Momir's. They would make a great chapter masters, and if I recall correctly, the action in the Apophis sector is due to start back up again. Oh, Momir was pretty cool. No, Momir was pretty good. Kenneth was super powerful. He was super defensive. I've never seen a 2-up invulnerable save Marine in close combat, of course. That was insane. That was like the only reason I won that last game. Spoiler alert. Sorry, everyone. I'm terrible for spoilers, but yeah, he was the only reason I was able to pull through on that last campaign game. I guess I won't say what campaign it is, but woohoo! You know what? I mean, I suppose if Matthew really wanted to, he could make a new MiniWarGaming chapter on 32mm bases based off Theo's gene seed. They could be, I don't know what they would be. They would just be, I would like to see that. I don't know what to call them. The rampaging something. Something rampage. Something dark. Something bloodshed. Something blood angel-y, but, not very clearly blood angel-y. I don't. I'd be okay with that, though. I would love an entirely new MiniWarGaming chapter based off Theo. I'm sure a lot of you would as well. And I would love it if they were on 32mm bases, because I love 32mm bases. And our current MiniWarGaming chapter is overwhelmed with 25mm bases. It just makes it really hard to enjoy playing them. I don't know why, but I become very snobby when it comes to base sizes. Next question. Corlock Juan. Hopefully I said that correctly. Question, for Matt or Dave, that's not for me. Or the rest of you guys, if you can answer it. No, I can at least try to. I know it's a small chance, but what with the new Middle-earth SBG release starter box game? Is there a possibility that you'll make some content for it? So I answered this earlier. The answer is currently not yet. There is no time allocated in the schedule for the Lord of the Rings box game, or just Lord of the Rings in general, but would love to see it happen. And obviously I'll keep pestering Josh to make it happen. Josh is himself highly interested, and he controls the schedule, so there are high hopes. This next question is by Mighty Hobbit. I wonder if this is Lord of the Rings related. At Luka, now that the Space Wolves Codex is out, will we see you play more of them? I know Dave likes them too, but he loves Chaos more. It's true. Would really like to see more Wolves though. Thanks for all your great content. Keep up the great work. Yeah, I would love to play more Space Wolves. Dave is back and recording more often, but you are right. He does like to play a lot of Chaos, but I think his focus will be on Wolves mostly for now. As with anyone, when their new Codex comes out for an army, say you have 3 or 4 armies, you're probably going to play the army that has the newest Codex more often than not, just because it's freshest in your head. The game is freshest from that perspective. So he'll probably play Space Wolves a lot. I would love to. If I have a chance to play 40k, I've been grinding a lot of Age of Sigmar recently. I remember the last time I played 40k was... so when I do play 40k, it's usually with my friend Kenny, and we usually do the Legion Lockdown. So if I get Space Wolves in that, I would love to play Space Wolves. My last matchup I got... I can't remember. I just did it too. Why is my memory so bad today? I apologize, everyone. I was able to play Traders. I played Night Lords versus Blood Angels, specifically the Lamenters. So if I ever come down to playing Legion Lockdown and I get the Space Wolves, then I will gladly make a cool wolf list for all of you out there, and specifically you for asking. Next question. So it wasn't actually a Lord of the Rings question after all. So, anyways, Malin? Milan? Luka, are you familiar with the Nazgul of Dol Guldur from Forge World? Yes. I'm familiar with the models, and I'm familiar with the army in general. They're pretty annoying to play against, especially if you're also running the Necromancer. Yes. I am familiar with this. Josh was talking about running it because the rules came out and he kind of got a witness of it. You'll have all 9 Nazgul running around. If they die, they can attempt to come back to life the next turn on a roll of 2+ because of the Necromancer, and each of the 9 may reroll this 2+ twice per game. It'll be annoying for all of those out there who want to table their opponent. This army you will never table. This army you have to play the objective solely. It's like playing against Legions of Nagash and Age of Sigmar. It's hopeless to try and kill them. You'll kill the unit and it will come back immediately next turn. No matter how big it is, no matter how small it is, just never count something out that you kill. So you have to win the game by playing the objectives. And I am agreeing with you. I find that highly annoying. I think I'm more akin to just trying to kill as much as I can. I love killing my opponent's armies. I treat the actual primary objectives as almost a secondary. If I was to lose the game, but I killed a lot of my opponent's models, I don't care. In my head, I still had a fun little win there, a moral victory even. But when you're playing against armies like Legions of Nagash, or specifically the Nazgul of Dol Guldur with the Necromancer, you're never going to kill it. And you have to get that out of your head. It's unfortunate, and you know what? If you can't do that, then maybe you could ask your opponent to play something else, or just don't play against it. It's not overpowered. It's just you have to play the objectives. You'll have way more models than they will, and by that, you'll be able to control the objectives easier. And they're all heroes. I mean, Lord of the Rings is hero hammer through and through, right? It's very easy for heroes to win fights. It's very easy for them to just cleave through your unit. So you have to try to avoid combat with them and just kind of tie them up where you can and run around and grab objectives. It is the unfortunate truth. And there's a lot of armies like that in other war games as well, where you just tie them up where you can. You don't really look for any fights. So you're not really playing a war game. You're just kind of just trying to avoid. It's like a weird narrative game where it's just like an endless onslaught of armies coming at you and you can't do anything about it. Again, I'm not a huge fan of that either. Second question from Malin. Luka, how do you fix 1,000 Suns in 30k? Oh, jeez. I don't like the idea of simply giving other legions access to Psykers because it feels like it makes everyone else shoehorn these characters in order to prep against one potential opponent. I also agree with that. I wouldn't just shoehorn Psykers into every list just to prepare for 1,000 Suns. And even then, even in 7th edition, I guess technically the Horus Heresy, in that edition, that setup, the way Psykers work, even if you had other Psykers, they don't really stop powers that well. I mean, you have to be I'm pretty sure you have to be a higher mastery level than whoever's casting a spell, and 1,000 Suns are mostly going to be higher mastery level than you, other than the generic just units themselves. As well as they manifest on 4s, and even then you only manifest on 5s, or you deny on 5s against them. Unless you have Adamantium Will and a higher mastery level, then you're denying on 4s as well. It's not great. I'm not a huge fan of that psychic system, but it is what it is. How do you fix 1,000 Suns? Well, change the psychic phase, make it more interactable, obviously. 8th edition does a pretty good job. I guess I shouldn't say that. 8th edition does a good job if you yourself have a lot of Psykers, and that's kind of what we're trying to shy away from here. I think it just comes down to the fact that if your opponent's playing 1,000 Suns to their full potential, I mean, that is their full potential. Magnus is an insanely powerful Psyker in the narrative. He is represented well on the battlefield. It is a narrative win. You can't argue that. You can't, he's overpowered, and I'm like a war game. It's always nice for it to be balanced, but in no way, shape, or form is Magnus balanced. That is hands down, without a doubt. And it's hard for them to imagine. It's hard for me to imagine Magnus on the battlefield not doing insane things with psychic powers. I've watched Steve play a game against Vito where he was playing his Iron Warriors against Magnus, and Magnus came down, pyromancy, tabled Steve in one turn, in one go, with Destroyer hits. And you know what? In my head, I'm like, makes sense to me. That's the narrative. That's Magnus. That's literally Magnus in the Horus Heresy. He's insanely powerful. His legion kind of rides around on the shoulders of Magnus. The rest of the Legion is powerful as well. Like, obviously, the Sekhmet Terminators are an issue. The 3-up invulnerable saves a little much. They can be easily fixed by increasing their points. I guess you could just easily say you can increase Magnus's points as well, but Magnus on his own can win games. So it's one of those things, if you're playing as Thousand Suns, and as I mentioned earlier, if they're going to bring Magnus and all the Sekhmet Terminators and all of that good stuff, then just, you know, you either beat them or you don't. Shake your opponent's hand and say, whatever, good game. Or you can just say, you can ask them, maybe don't play Magnus, maybe just play normal Thousand Suns without crazy Cult Arcana. I can't really remember all the names. It's been a while since I fought the Thousand Suns. But it all comes down to what your opponent is willing to give you leeway with. If you're not a very experienced player or your army is not tailored in any way, shape, or form to fight Thousand Suns, it's kind of on them. Unless it's a tournament, I guess. But if you're just playing like a pickup game and they're there just to beat you in a turn or two, then what are they really doing there? Like, that's what I wonder. They should, shame on them. Shame on you. I'm sorry if I'm targeting anyone there, but come on, you gotta give your opponents a fun game. You can't just show up, beat them down with Magnus, say good game, and then go home. That's like, what's the point? That's not the point of the hobby. At least in my opinion, it's not. But no, it's what can you do? Like, what are you gonna do when the Emperor comes out? Like, the Emperor is insanely powerful psyker as well. I assume he'll have similar rules, and Custodes are already kind of annoying to play against, so I can't imagine that's going to be all that great either. And there's going to be a lot of people with the Emperor, I imagine, because it's the freaking Emperor of mankind. Of course, you're going to run him. Not looking forward to that either. But again, in the whole narrative, Horus Heresy is a narrative game through and through. So in the end, I can't really complain. It's just well represented. At least I think it is. One really powerful Psyker walking around tearing up the battlefield. And Magnus is a powerful Psyker. But how do you fix them? It all comes down to your opponent. I would not expect them to change the rules on Magnus at all, and if they did, I'd be a little disappointed. I don't want to see Magnus get nerfed. I just want to see Magnus be used in an agreeable situation where the opponent has a list that can deal with him, etc., etc. You know, if your opponent just keeps bringing Magnus, it's on them. Like, that's their fault. Other than that, though, they could agree just to play a really toned down Thousand Suns list. And then again, I also understand it's hard to enjoy playing your army when you see its potential and you're playing it like down here, and you kind of buy the army for a specific reason, for that psychic powerhouse, and then all of a sudden you're playing it with like maybe 1 or 2 psychers, and you're just kind of shooting both guns. So obviously, I don't blame you for not wanting to do that either. Next question. This is by Scott M.E.M. Scott Mem. Luka, I know you all have a lot of narrative campaigns going on right now, but can you make it your mission to have your next Age of Sigmar campaign as Hamathroa rampaging through the realms? Nothing would make me happier. Are you a fan of Ironjaws then? I actually wouldn't mind seeing Matthew do something like that. He is currently working on the Watchers in Death. I believe that's what it's called, so I apologize if that's incorrect. A campaign on Hamathroa, starting out his Wa, you know, starting out gathering all of the Ard Boys, the Brutes, all of the Moon Clan, and kind of, you know, going where Gordrak might go. See how big Hamathroa's Wa can truly be. I would love to, you know what, I wouldn't mind watching an Orc campaign, an Orc war boss starting out, maybe the origins of Hamathroa, and where he was, and maybe include a couple of the episodes where he fought the Stormcast Eternals, or, you know, just like an episode after that, where you can just kind of throw in that narrative blurb, and then where he ends up going after his great defeat against the Fire Slayers and Stormcast Eternals, where he goes from there. Does he lick his wounds and recover and gather his forces again? Or is he just snuffed out like another flame in the eons? Ooh. Who knows? But a campaign for Hamathroa would be pretty fun and pretty original. I don't know if we ever did any Orc campaigns. I'm actually drawing a blank. For 40k, that is. Any Orc campaigns, an Orc war boss starting out a WoW, and, you know, working through some Imperial worlds, maybe fighting some Xenos, that kind of thing. Next question, and the last one for this segment, before I jump into the second half, into the vault. We have a question by Poxvle. Poxvle. Anyways. Hi, Luka. May I record your Just the Luka the Dice line and use it as a text chime on my mobile? Yes, you have my permission. It's so rough. It's awful. It's not awful. It's just, I I just imagined how awful that would be if one of my friends had that. Oh boy, do they like to goad me on that. They all find it pretty funny too, though. It's just, one friend hates it, though, like legitimately hates it. Anyways, yes, you have my permission to do that. By all means, please record that and use that as a chime on your phone whenever you get a ring, or a text message, an email. You might as well make it all of them. Why not all three? You have my permission. That was a pretty quick one, so I'll answer one more. We have Demon Wolf at Dice God of Cats. That is me. Thank you for the great content. Loving the random army games that you have played recently. Thank you. That is the Legion Lockdown. If you haven't checked it out, there is. It's kind of going into its own show, or we're gonna try and make it its own show to see if it works, and if you all appreciate it. With Kill Team coming out recently, and the fact that a Rogue Trader faction have been confirmed, what other random obscure forces do you think would be cool for Games Workshop or Forge World to bring out? Oh, there are so many. There's so many videos on this online, so many blogs, so many articles about what Games Workshop could introduce to the 40K world, or Kill Team, stuff like that. So many randoms, like even just like through the novels, you come across a lot of Xenos factions, or just like subhumans, or like ancient human races that have evolved in such a weird way that they don't fit into the Imperium anymore. There's a lot of options. I would like to see, if I had to pick one, see, I think of something, I'm like, it's too close to this, or it's too close to that. And like a cool, weird spider race, like on the planet Murder from the Heresy. That's kind of tyranny, though. And I would like to see, like another Xenos race, maybe. Like, I want to see a new original Xenos race. I think that would be really cool. I don't want any more Imperium armies. I don't want any more Chaos armies. I want to see a new original Xenos race. I mean, obviously, I won't scoff at new Imperial or Chaos armies. Like the Death Guard came out, the Custodes came out. Those are all fine and dandy. Is there any new ones? Everything else is last edition, like Gene Stealer Cult. Technically, Gene Stealer Cult is Xenos one, but they were out last edition. I want to see a new one this edition. Games Workshop, make me happy. I can't think of anything though. I'm like, my imagination is just drawing a blank. Which also, next question. Also, which is your favorite Deathwatch character now that Theo is standing with the Emperor? Oh, whom, like, for my current warband that I just played, I always like Terminators, and I like that, what was the name? Lazov got an immediate upgrade to teleport around. So he was almost, I think I mentioned in the video he was my instant favorite. But if I had to choose like an all-time, like, Hall of Fame kind of thing, no, that's tough. Olaf was amazing. The capabilities of Olaf as a whole was amazing, but the combination of him and Theo were the perfect two-man team. Theo would kill the hordes of guys. Olaf would kill the Stompa in one hit. And that was my dream team, the two together. I had to choose which one I wanted to come back, and Theo was a way more thematic resurgence in the Contemptor armor. So I went with Theo, whereas Olaf would have just came back as Olaf. I mean, he would have been a powerhouse, and that would have been, you just would have been Olaf the Space Wolf, like nothing special there. Theo coming back in the Contemptor armor. Theo in Contemptor armor is pretty cool. The original Theo was pretty cool. Olaf was really cool. If I had to choose between the two, I think I always had a little bit more fun with Olaf, because I like the idea of that the Space Wolf Terminator teleporting around, hating it every time, but having to through necessity because he was too slow otherwise. Loved that. That was fun. And the last, keep up the fantastic work, and happy wargaming from Demon Wolf. Thank you, Demon Wolf. Thank you for the question. Anyways, folks, that will be the end of this first half of the segment. Of course, I'm jumping right into the vault to answer the rest of the questions I have here from the vault members. And granted, again, if you're not a vault member, click on the link below. Sign yourself up for that 7-day free trial. Get you access to the rest of the sit-in vaults. Or, again, the rest of the thousands of Warhammer-related videos out there, or just wargaming in general. Anyways, everyone, one last reminder to leave questions from Matthew for next week's Sit and Talk down below in this video, not the next one. If you're leaving them in the next one, you've made a dire mistake. And leave those questions in this video, please. The comments on video are disabled. Sorry, the comments on YouTube are disabled, so down below works perfectly. Happy wargaming, everyone. See you in the vault.